Well, hello and welcome to the Skillwork Forum. As a reminder, this podcast exists to help leaders and companies looking for innovative solutions to help solve their skilled labor challenges across the country. I'm Tim. I'm joined with my partner, Brett, from Skillwork, and today we're going to be talking about a topic that we call internal recruiting versus external or outsourced recruiting. For us, internal recruiting really is you as a company, you have your own internal in-house recruiting team, recruiting effort that go out, recruit, find, source, and bring them on board. We call it internal recruiting here, so that for the sake of the context that we're going to be talking about today, that's what we're going to be focused on today. So many companies are adding to their overhead and their HR budgets in this space, adding additional resources and focus as a means and a way to be able to solve some of their skilled labor shortage. So we'll pose the question today as to whether this is actually a good strategy. And I don't think it's a complete yes or no answer. It could be part of a strategy. So we're going to look at it a little bit today and see where we as Skillwork might be able to help augment or support your company as you go out and try to find these critical staffing shortages or fill these critical staffing shortages. So companies are expanding their HR budgets. We know that. I think the statistics and some articles and some research we were doing indicated about 10% across the board companies were looking to increase their HR budget and overhead with expansion primarily of their recruiting capability and onboarding the talent. So there's a lot of cost associated with doing this, Brett. I know some of the things that are part of the monetary cost of this increased emphasis on recruiting. Number one, the salary of your recruiting team. You got to hire those folks, and they're talented, usually college graduate folks that are out there. So it's not an insignificant cost to bring that recruiting team on board and then getting them up to speed to where they really understand your company and culture. Extra team members that you're going to use that are doing other jobs that are going to augment that recruiting team's effort. There's internal commissions, referral bonuses. There's a lot of costs associated with advertising, online job boards. There's applicant tracking systems. There's costs associated with that. And a lot of hidden costs, and we could go on and on to build this out. But the bottom line is you as a company, when you take that course of action to increase your recruiting presence, you're going to be spending a little bit of dollars to do that.
No doubt, and the obvious, it probably seems a little bit obvious, but you have to ask, why are companies, because it's really been something that's probably really been more heavily in the last 10 years to where you've seen more companies expanding their HR, to try to go out and find the talent they need. The obvious is that they're doing that because there's a shortage of employees and talent. Prior to the COVID-19 pandemic that we've all been managing through, since March of this year. Prior to that, consistently in companies, CEOs, leaders of companies, whoever you wanted to look at, whether it be a Gallup poll or what it is, they indicated the biggest risk to achieving their plans was finding the employees and the talent that they needed to execute the plan. They were very robust about and I believe without any doubt that robust economy is on its way back. And as it does, this need to find those employees and that talent to execute that and react to that growing economy is going to come right back.
Oh, for sure. And the irony of that is that these companies, while they fully anticipated spending more and building that capability up, they also admitted that they fully anticipated having continued poor results with that. So increasing spending, but expect to hire fewer, less qualified people. So they're spending more for fewer people and for poorer results, and really overall lower confidence in the process. So it seems a little bit like an oxymoron to do that, or it doesn't seem to pass the logic test on why companies would continue to spend more for something that they fully anticipate not to give them the results they're after. So What are the needs? What are people really looking for out there in this skilled trade space, Brett, that's driving this?
Well, I think that's the interesting question. I think it's, and I think that's the question that companies really need to sit down and think about, because the needs are not all the same. And so by that I mean, in the manufacturing world, which that's the space that I came out of.
Right.
Tim, as you know, I was a partner and then had an opportunity to be part of a company. We had 8 manufacturing facilities, and so we really had 2 needs, and we talked about it all the time. That our biggest concern was finding the people. Without any doubt, and so. But in the manufacturing world, you're looking for 2 different things. You have a need for people to work in the plant, what we would call line workers or laborers or that type of thing, and so that employee has one set of needs, or you find them in a certain place. Then the other big shortage were the skilled technicians, the skilled mechanics. You could say the same in the construction, which we obviously participate in. So in construction, you're either looking for general laborers, but then you're also looking for the project managers, the superintendents, the electricians, the plumbers, the more skilled. And so I think where companies, they recognized without any doubt that they have to solve the employment shortage issue, but I think you also need to define what that is. We in my past company, we did an okay job, a pretty decent job, as we expanded that dollar spend, and we were probably well above the 10% increase. They did a better job of finding the local talent that they could bring into the plant by going to job fairs and doing different advertising. But to be honest, they did a very poor job at using those same people to find the skilled trades.
Yeah, that's really my experience as well, that our onboarding, recruiters, talent acquisition, you hear that a lot. Mm-hmm. Dedicated folks, they were really good. I would say, generically speaking, bringing talent on, but when you had a unique requirement or something that required a critical fit, it was really challenging, we found, to be able to have them do that. They're much better at a repeating process for a standard set of workers, and if that's your need, then by all means they're very good at that. Oftentimes, though, you need those, like you said, the skilled, the critical technicians. And while we may not be the right solution for all of your staffing needs, and by we I mean us at Skillwork, who our business is about going out and finding those skilled craftsmen, the skilled tradespeople that you need, specifically those more challenging, difficult to find guys. And we may be not the full solution, but we're definitely a great solution to augment your talent acquisition and recruiting staff, particularly in those more challenging fills to find.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think that's exactly right, Tim. I think as companies, and really the reason that one of the main reasons that we started Skillwork was we recognized that in this area, companies were really struggling because of the amount of shortage of skilled trades, which is well documented across the country. That will be, by the year 2025, will be 2 million short of the number of skilled trade individuals that we need to fill the need,
Right.
fill the openings.
Yeah.
And so trying to use the same solution to find all your employment needs, I think it's something you have to really go, are we really getting what we're paying for? again, the aha moment for me in this space was with my previous company. The list of, as I indicated, we had several manufacturing facilities, and the list of maintenance mechanics that we need. We put out a report every month that showed how many openings there were. It never changed. It didn't mean that we weren't hiring people, but they were going out as fast as they were coming in, and it never changed. And the talent acquisition people, like you indicated, they were great people. They worked very hard. They wanted to solve the problem, but as we would probably somewhat cynically say sometimes, the reality was the same person that's trying to find you a line worker or a general laborer or an accountant, there's a pretty good chance that they couldn't, if you laid a crescent wrench and a pipe wrench on the table, they couldn't tell you the difference.
Right.
But you're asking them to solve the skilled trade problem for you.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, it's again, it's not a knock. And by the way, you mentioned you had as many outgoing as you had coming in. So if you're interested in how to reduce negative outcomes, you can look us up on a previous podcast. We talked about that. So you always want to try to fix that. But it's so true that, it's the idea of being able to really hone in on what you need. And we think one of the ways that you could improve the ability to find these specific skilled tradespeople or hard to find is, really working to identify those must-haves, need-to-have requirements to fill those roles. And I think that's something that we do very well. Again, having worked with talent acquisition teams a lot in the past, they tend to boilerplate, their requisition and their needs. And even when you work with them to be able to give them specific needs, it gets to be a challenge to articulate that when you've got this, extra step in the process. So for us, we work very hard with our clients to be able to really understand, we are experts in the skilled trade space, so we understand, and we can ask some very nuanced questions to make sure that we're going out and finding you the exact person you need. So our focus, our goal, for example, is, Brett, if you come to me as a company and you're looking for a PLC-focused mechanic that can do some programming, or electrician that can do some programming, I'm going to return you 3 highly qualified candidates that hit every one of your must-haves and some other soft skills as well, and come back to you. So your time and energy is going to be really picking from 3 what we consider winners for that role, and you're going to spend a lot less frustration trying to weed through guys who, maybe they were construction electricians, but that's not what you need for your job.
Yeah, exactly. And so, part of that reason, Tim, we've built our model. We've lived in the world, where we saw the challenges of it, and then we have spent, years now developing a process to really go after this. And one of the things, when we meet with companies and typically somebody from HR is going to be in that office. And at first, they kind of feel like that we're competing with them, that we're going to make them look bad because we're going to solve a problem, or at least we're suggesting we're going to solve a problem that they can't.
Right.
And I always try to diffuse that a little bit to not make an excuse for them, because it's a reality. Is what that talent or HR person in the skilled trade space for a facility or a construction site, what they're being asked to do is to go out and find something locally that doesn't exist. And so there's a major flaw. You can throw all the dollars at your talent team as you want, but if there's no fish in the pond, the chances of catching very many are, because the reality is, if there were a lot of mechanics or electricians or whatever skilled trade you're looking for. If the unemployment was at a point where they were there locally, you wouldn't need the talent acquisition people. You'd already be finding them. I mean,
Right. They'd be coming to you.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I'm wondering how this is going to come. When you say the economy is going to come back post-COVID, I think we're going to see a lot more challenges in this space. I mean, the demand is going to be there. It hasn't gone away. It's pent up. I think it's going to come roaring back. They're talking about this infrastructure bill. There's going to be a lot of construction, a lot of investment. I really believe there's a lot of pent-up demand in the construction, and of course manufacturing supports construction. Transportation supports it as well. So what is going to be the post-COVID-19 pinch on skilled tradespeople when a lot of your very best folks, they may not come back, or some people have transitioned to different types of jobs through training incentives and stuff that are out there. So I think this could become even more of a challenge and even more necessity, especially if you need to ramp up quick to be able to augment your talent acquisition team. And again, I think what you said is important, Brad. We're not saying that go get rid of all your talent acquisition people. They're great. They do a good job. You need to keep them. We'd say continue to focus on them. We consider them partners. But there's certain things that we can do, or companies like us can do, to augment that, to decrease your overall spend and your timeline to be able to bring those guys in. And a big part of it is it's not just all about skills. And you mentioned the difference between a crescent wrench and a pipe wrench. A lot of times it's talent acquisition people they may not have as good an understanding about the culture and the personality you need for a guy to work a third shift, and he's the single maintenance guy keeping the gear up third shift. I mean, there's a nuance there as well, isn't there?
Yeah. Well, it's like anything. I mean, it's this is what we do. Most companies, they're not their primary function of that company is not talent acquisition. That's become a necessity as they attempt to, make more product or build more buildings or wire more panels, whatever it is. So that's their core business. Our core business, what we talk to skilled trades people and companies that have those needs every day. So it's like anything. You refine it, you refine it, you refine it. You probably aren't. You're probably not going to just get the guy that's working at the Firestone to work at the NASCAR track, that weekend just because he changed some tires last week. And so, really being able to kind of refine and refine and refine, I think has a lot of, there's a lot of value in getting the right people, getting, and getting it right, hopefully the first time. We try to do it the first time.
Yeah, and I think it's important that, you not all companies in our space are the same. And some focus more on a quantity model. They're just going to push, they're going to push you 50 candidates and 2 of them are going to stick, they hope. And that's not our approach. That other model may be working for you, but we feel like in our space where we're looking for those crucial hires that you need, we are focused on quality over quantity, and we want to get you guys that are going to fit it. It's not 100% infallible, but it's our business and it's what we do, and we think we do it well.
Yeah. There's a saying, that don't bring a sword to a gunfight, and that would be our push here, or our recommendation here is don't try to apply. If you have a skilled trade need, that's a pretty specific need, and to Tim's point, you need more quality over quantity. A lot of facilities, especially in the manufacturing, they may need, realistically, they may be 25, 30, 40. I talked to a plant, last week that was literally 100 line workers in their plant short, and part of it's COVID related and stuff, so it's a little bit unique. But on the flip side of that, they needed 7 mechanics. So 100 of these and 7 of these. So you need quality over here. Here, reality, you need numbers.
Right.
And we're not in that game. We're not going to help you. That's not what we're good at. Our model is built to go out and search the country.
Focus on the 7.
You can focus on the 7.
Yeah, we're going to get you the best 7, and and that's what we do, and we do it well, and we focus on that as a partner and an augmentation to your talent acquisition team. So by all means, continue to do the things you're doing along that route. We think it does add value, along with some other things you can do, but certainly when it comes to focusing strictly on your internal recruiting staff as a solution, we would suggest that there might be some alternatives for you to look at, and Skillwork would be one among those, and we think we do it quite well. So we appreciate you joining us today on the podcast. Thanks very much for your time. It's valuable. If you'd like more information on what we do, how we can help you solve the skilled labor shortage you may be having, please reach out to us at skillwork.com. We're always look forward to chatting with you and seeing if we can help you solve your skilled labor shortage. Until next time, we'll see you.